Hi everybody, it's Shelley from the Maggie Haves School. Before we start our Martin Luther King Sing, I just wanted to mention briefly that these sings have been so important in our school community. This year marks over 40 Martin Luther King sings we have had. And that is because Maggie Haves herself lived during the civil rights era, and she was a social and political activist. She and her husband served in the Peace Corps in Africa when their twins were only 4 years old. And Maggie was all about helping make the world fair for everyone. And what she discovered was that really the best way to do that would be to create a school where she could help teach children about how important fairness is. It was only 12 years after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that Maggie Haves established her school. So I think that the biggest way that Maggie Haves made things more fair for the world was by creating her school. And she wanted people to always remember these stories and always remember the brave people who came before us to help change the bad rules that were in place. And we still have more work to do. And by remembering the stories and by singing these songs and by talking about what fairness and justice and equality and freedom is, by sharing that with all of the children, we're really developing that awareness and that consciousness. And that is really what Maggie Haves wanted us to do. So by having these Martin Luther King sings, we are truly honoring Maggie's vision and honoring her life. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you sing along and enjoy the sing with us together. Triangle Room, hello, good morning, and welcome to our Martin Luther King Jr. Sing of 2021. And today we've been talking about this very special person. Who is this?
Martin Luther King!
Yeah, Martin Luther King. Some people call him Martin Luther King Jr. That's a big, long name. And Martin Luther King Jr. was super special because he taught people that they could use what?
Words!
They could use their words to solve problems. And Bianca was asking if he was a king. He was not a king like a ruler of a land, but his last name was King. So Martin Luther King Jr. taught people that they could use words to solve their problems. And the big problem at that time, do you remember the big problem was that not everybody could do the same things. People were treated differently just because of how they looked. So what were some of the things that not everybody could do the same?
Swim in the same pool.
Swim in the same
Go
swimming
in
pool?
the same restaurant.
Go in the same restaurant.
If the bus got full, somebody had to just sit in the back of the bus.
If the bus got full, some people would have to sit in the back of the bus or even give their seat to somebody else. Yeah, absolutely. That's right. And what else? What else could not everybody do?
Not swimming.
In the same swimming pools? You have a Rosa Parks book. We're going to tell that story of Rosa Parks soon. And Sloan, what were you saying?
Not everybody can drink in the same water fountain.
They couldn't drink in the same water fountain. They couldn't use the same bathrooms. They couldn't go in the same libraries or on the same trains. So yeah, it wasn't fair. It would be like if I looked at Jim and I said, Jim, you know, I don't like the color of your eyes, so you can't use the bathrooms here. Would that be fair?
No.
No, because why is that not fair?
It's not nice.
It's not nice, but what is the same about Jim? And even if Jim and I have different color eyes,
We're human.
We're human. We are people, and we should all be treated equally and fairly. Oops, you okay? Did you get bumped there, Mateo?
Except us.
I think Sloane's jacket might have bumped your mask a little bit. You all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why except us?
Say it again, Bianca.
Why except us?
Why accept us? Were you wondering why some people couldn't do certain things and some people could? Do you remember what it was? Remember we looked at each other and we noticed that we have something different about.
Yeah, but we're darker skin.
Some people who had.
I have light skin.
Some people have light skin. Some people have dark skin.
I have dark skin. Light skin.
Yeah.
Light skin.
And what about Martin Luther King Jr.? Look at this picture. Do you have lighter skin or darker skin? Yeah. And so the rule was, so we all have different shades of skin.
My black guy is black. We're going to black bin guy.
I didn't hear what you said. Say it again.
He has black. My mom.
Hold on, Bianca.
Lorena has like really dark skin.
So you know somebody who has very, very dark skin. And Bianca, what were you saying?
My mom's skin is darker than mine.
And so even in your own family, some people have darker skin. You're saying your mom has darker skin than you. So yeah, so we have different color skin, different color hair, different color eyes. But what's the same about us?
We're all humans.
We're all humans. And so that was the rule. Martin Luther King Jr. said these are really bad rules because it's not fair to tell some people that they can do things and then the other people they tell them they can't. That's not fair. So we think about that story of this lady. Who is this? Rosa Parks. And Rosa Parks was a friend of Martin Luther King Jr. And there's a famous story that happened with Rosa Parks. She got on a bus, she paid her money, and she sat down. And just like Cece had said, there was a rule that said if the bus got crowded, people with
skin.
She did, yeah. Is it hard to see in that picture?
Like Martin Luther King Jr.?
Yeah, but even there you can see her skin. It's a little bit of a different shade as Martin Luther King Jr.'s. But the bus driver said that she would have to get up and she would have to give her seat to somebody else.
And she would have to go sit at the back?
Yeah, and if there was no room in the bus at all, she'd have to stand. And so that was the rule, was that people with darker skin had to give their seats to people with lighter skin. Was that fair?
No.
So Rosa was so brave, she decided she was going to use her words and she was going to say what?
No!
And she said no to the bus driver. And she was so brave to do that, you guys. You can imagine it would take so much courage to say no. And so many people heard about this story and they decided they would do the same thing. And many, many people even decided they wouldn't ride the bus at all. People with dark skin said we're not going to ride the bus, and people with light skin said this rule is not fair. We're not going to ride this bus until you change the rule. And thousands of people stopped riding the bus for so long. The bus company lost so much money that what did they do?
Change the rule!
They changed the rule! And we have a song about that to celebrate that everybody could sit wherever they wanted in the bus, no matter how they looked. We sing, if you miss me in the back of the bus, you can't find me nowhere. Come on over to the front of the bus, I'll be riding up there. I'll be riding up there. I'll be riding up there. Come on over to the front of the bus, I'll be riding up there. And another bad rule was that not everybody could vote for the rules and the leaders that they wanted. Some people, just because of how they looked, would have to work very hard lives. Do you remember there was a picture of somebody who was working in a cotton field? And why was cotton so hard to pick? Spiky and pokey. It was really, really sharp. And so after the rules changed, people, everyone, could easily vote for the rulers and the leaders and the rules that they wanted so that they could have better lives and not have to have such hard lives. So we sing, if you miss me in the cotton fields, you can't find me nowhere. Come on about how not everybody could swim in the same swimming pool. Some people, just because of how they looked, had to swim
in the
Mississippi River. Yes, and why was that so yucky?
Because it was so dirty.
The water was really dirty and muddy, and also probably really cold, so it probably wasn't very comfortable to go in the river. When the rules changed, everyone got to swim in the same swimming pool, so we sang, "If you miss me in the Mississippi River, you can't find me nowhere. Come on over to the swimming pool, I'll be swimming over there." Sing with me. I'll be
Swimming over there. I'll be swimming over there.
Come on over to the swimming pool, I'll be swimming over there. Your turn, let's do. If you miss me in the back of the bus, you can't
find me nowhere. Front of the bus, I'll be riding up there.
I'll be riding up there. I'll be riding up there. Come on over to the front of the bus, I'll be riding up there. Well, this was such a special thing that all the rules got changed, you guys, that you know what? That meant everybody had freedom. And what does freedom mean?
You get to do whatever you want.
You get to do what you want. You can live your life the way you want to live it. You have the freedom to say yes, the freedom to say no,
Maybe.
freedom to say maybe. All right, let's sing the song about freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Sing with me. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. And we're going to school with our minds stayed on freedom. We're going to school with our minds stayed on freedom. Sing with me. Going to school with our minds stayed on freedom. Hallelujah,
Hallelujah.
hallelujah,
Hallelujah.
hallelujah. Let me see your feet. March your feet, because you know what? A lot of people would go on freedom marches, and they would march and they would say, "We need to change the rules," and they would hold signs and they would chant, and we're going to sing together. We're walking and talking with our minds stayed on freedom. We're walking and talking with our minds stayed on freedom. We're walking and talking with our minds. Let me hear ya. Stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Here's our other song about freedom. You ready? If you're all for freedom, clap your hands. If you're all for freedom, clap your hands. If you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, clap your hands. If you're all for freedom, stomp your feet. Stomp, stomp, stomp. If you're all for freedom, stomp your feet. If you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, stomp your feet. Stomp, stomp, stomp. If you're all for freedom, shout hooray.
Hooray!
If you're all for freedom, shout hooray.
Hooray!
If you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, shout hooray.
Hooray!
If you're all for freedom, do all three. Clap, clap, stomp, stomp, stomp. Hooray! If you're all for freedom, do all three. Clap, 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 stomp, stomp, stomp. Hooray! If you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, if you're all for freedom, do all three. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Hooray! On the count of three, let's shout freedom. 1, 2, 3.
Freedom!
Yeah, all right, everybody take a seat. And we're going to sing about that song, about the love between our brothers and our sisters, How can it be that we are brothers and sisters? How could that
We're
be?
all humans.
We're all humans, like part of a human family. That's right. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out a warning, I'd hammer out the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out a warning, I'd ring out the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out a warning, I'd sing out the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Now we have all three. Well, I have a hammer, and I have a bell, and I have a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's the song about the love between my brothers and my sisters. That's us, all over this land. And Martin Luther King also taught us that we have the most powerful thing inside of us. It's like a superpower, and it's the most powerful thing in the whole world, and everybody has it inside of them. And what is that?
Even bad guys?
Do you remember?
Even
Everyone.
bad guys?
Well, you know what? Every single person has this power available to them, that they can choose to use it. Yes. And that, even that, yes. All people have love inside of them, and they can choose to be loving. That's right. And so when you choose love, when you choose to be loving, that's what makes everything fair, and that's what makes everything free, and makes everybody take care of each other. So love is the most powerful, powerful thing. And we can sing, and Martin Luther King Jr. wanted everybody to shine their love like a light. So we can sing, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. We're gonna take this light around the world, 'cause I'm gonna let it shine. Sing it with me. We're gonna take this light around the world, 'cause I'm gonna let it shine. We're gonna take this light around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Can love ever be blown out or destroyed? No. Don't you my little light out, 'cause I'm gonna let it shine. Don't you my little light out, 'cause I'm gonna let it shine. Don't you my little light out, 'cause I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Just the triangle rumors, this little light meeting that Martin Luther King would have, or people who were trying to change those bad rules, at the end of every meeting, they would stand up together and they would hold their hands in that special way. So if you want to do that, see if you can get your hands. You're going to cross your arms in front of you, and you're going to hold the opposite hand of the person next to you. Do you want to do it, Mateo?
Hey, you're holding
Okay. Do you want to just hold Asher's hand with one hand right there? Yeah, that might be. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky to do that. There you go. Do you got it? You guys all have it? All right. And so that special song that they would sing at the end of meetings would go like this. We shall overcome. Try it. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. When they held their hands, they felt so strong. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. And at the end of the song, they would give a very gentle, loving squeeze to the hand next to them. And that said, I'm with you. And together we can make the world fair for everyone. So thank you so much for singing and helping me tell the stories. Do you want to say goodbye into the video? Say goodbye.
Bye.